DOULUO DALU Chapter 15, 1000-Year Spirit Ring Ability, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Part 1. When Daimyo Bai was pinned by Tang San's Spirit Blue Silver Grass second ability, he finally used his third Spirit Rings ability. Right now, Daimyo Bai appearing before Tang San and Xiaowu had again changed appearance. The original body because of Spirit White Tiger body enhancement became majestic once again expanded, its muscles bulging exaggeratedly, the clothes on his body completely bursting, exposing horrifying muscle contours, but most abnormal was, all over his skin appeared black striation. If he wouldn't have been without fur, it would have been without any difference to a tiger. The pair of tiger paws again enlarged, on the surface ejected sharp swords all turned shining silver. Most peculiar was, his entire body up and down was enveloped in a layer of intense golden light, like it was gilded itself. The blood-red pair of evil eyes revealed a bloodthirsty light, the entire body up and down all bringing a kind of king among beasts tyranny. Although Tang San did not know what a transformation like this before him represented, but this was the third spirit ring, and also an ability bestowed by a 1000-year spirit ring. Equally feeling the crisis, Xiaowu practically immediately released her spirit ring, and like Tang San, 2 yellow rings of light appeared around her body. That pair of lovable white ears also rose up. Originally already very beautiful, she right now looked like her figure seemingly became softer. Beast Spirit Body Enhancement, unlike Beast Spirit Effect, like Daimyo Bai's White Tiger Body Enhancement, would make him become even more ferocious and strong. What Xiaowu's Rabbit Spirit Body Enhancement gave her was an even softer figure, along with both legs becoming even longer and more slender. Closer to a rabbit's characteristics. Not even Tang San knew from what spirit beast Xiaowu's spirit ring was. Tang San and Xiaowu in that end-of-year leave when Tang San under Grandmaster and the Nyerding Dean's assistance obtained his second spirit ring. Xiaowu at that time then returned home. When she again came back, had already obtained the second spirit ring, also was a 100-year spirit ring. Blue and black blue silver grass shot out from around Tang San's body. The spirit was not required to only emerge from the palm, bringing sharp thorned vines rapidly rushing out in mid-air, obstructing Daimyo Bai's line of sight, simultaneously twining out towards his forelimbs and neck. At Tang San's own spirit power, under the pressure of mysterious heaven skill's internal strength, the first spirit ring's binding ability he currently already brought out to the limit. At the time of launching the attack, Tang San held back Xiaowu who wanted to rush out, shaking his head toward her. Other people could not interfere in a fight between men, otherwise only would be looked down on by the other side. Tang San's mental age could not match his exterior, mere 12 years old, and deeply understood this bit. Even more since, although he from Daimyo Bai's body could sense ice cold and tyranny, but not at all hostility. When Tang San held back Xiaowu, his pupil also abruptly contracted at once, mouth issuing a muffled snort. 10 silvery lights flashed crisscrossed in mid-air, the rapid blue-silver grass vines abruptly halted in mid-air. Immediately following, these blue-silver grass with incomparable toughness, just then completely turned into small pieces dissipating in mid-air. Daimyo Bai's majestic body walked step by step towards Tang San's body, the silvery blades on his tiger claws continuously moving in and out, releasing astonishing pressure. Your blue-silver grass is indeed not bad, its toughness far exceeds my expectations. Even if it was my normal spirit power, it was to cut them open with the first attack. But, right now I'm using my third spirit ring ability, White Tiger Vajra Transformation. Originally, in order to obtain this spirit ring, I could be said to experience hardship and peril, in the end hunted down a 1000-year Vajra Tiger spirit beast. It not only substantially increased my physical strength, attack, and defense, but at the same time also bestowed on me this White Tiger Vajra Transformation ability. Daimyo Bai's steps halted when the distance to Tang San and Xiaowu still was 10 meters, without continuing to attack. My White Tiger Vajra Transformation can maintain half an hour of body transformation. In this half hour, in my exceptional state, resistance along with attack power, defense, and physical strength simultaneously increase twofold. With my 37th rank spirit power, under this amplification effect, your poison is still insufficient to harm me. Granted that your spirit ability is exquisite, its control system spirit effect is also not bad, but in the end it still isn't my match. This is the absolute difference in strength. In Daimyo Bai's evil eyes continuously glinted red light. Suddenly, the strong muscles on his body gradually contracted, the red light in his eyes also quietly dispersing. On his body the effects of White Tiger spirit body enhancement quietly vanished. The current Daimyo Bai would seem somewhat ridiculous, without any clothes intact, jacket completely burst, trousers also very seriously damaged, from the previous sharp thorns of blue-silver grass vines, the shredded area of the clothes he wore was not small. Evil eye having returned to normal, Daimyo Bai looked deeply at Tang San and Xiao Wu. I think, we very quickly will meet again. Going to Shrek Academy, if someone gives you trouble, give them my evil eye White Tiger Daimyo Bai's name. Finished speaking, he beckoned to that pair of twin young women, taking the lead to leave the hotel. Xiao Wu couldn't help but say at the figure of Daimyo Bai's back. How did you know we are going to Shrek Academy? Daimyo Bai stopped walking, coldly said. You are only about 12 years old, at this age, possessing more than 20th rank spirit power, at this time, if not coming here to sign up at Shrek Academy, then whatever for. 12 years old, haha, 12 years old, I'm already 15 years old. Tang San, I'll await you at Shrek Academy. Final words fading, Daimyo Bai's already left the hotel. Looking at his departing back, Xiao Wu somewhat unconvinced snorted. This person really is fishy. By one look is not some good person. Little San, hereafter even if we go to Shrek Academy, still must not have dealings with him. Part 2. Tang San smiled faintly, he similarly looked towards the departing Daimyo Bai. Why? I feel this person still isn't bad. Although a bit cold on the surface, very straightforward. Xiao Wu said unhappily. Not bad? What I see as bad cannot be mistaken. You tell me, he brought 2 girls to rent a room at a hotel, still capable of what good deed? Calling out prostitutes in the middle of the day, still is a good person? What evil eye White Tiger, I see as more like lewd tiger. Tang San wrinkled his brows. Xiao Wu, I find you understand more and more. Xiao Wu did not see Tang San's eyes a trace discontented, instead proud of herself said. Of course, do not forget, I am indeed Nyuting Academy student's boss. Helplessly shaking his head, Tang San said. Daimyo Bai's private preferences are not for me to evaluate. But I came to see from this fight with him just now, his each aspect is not bad. His strength is above ours, but does not use it to bully others. Not only giving us his room, before leaving meaning seemingly would look after us in the academy. Xiao Wu doubtfully said. Oh, that's right, just now he all along said we are 12 years old, he 15 years old, also, he previously said he already lost, those were what you meant. Tang San said. Before using spirit he said he already lost, first was because I beat him with skill, second, and should be because of our age. After we both used spirits, he also repeated the same words, still emphasizing age gap. If my guess isn't incorrect, his strength at 12 years of age, should not fall short of us right now, therefore he said he already lost. Grandmaster once said, innate talent over spirit master skill, before 20 years old, each year is of extraordinary importance. Differing 1 year of age, the cultivation gap would be very large. We with him have 3 years gap, but strength gap is not as much as the age, therefore he believed it was his loss, this still was a place he was eager to win. Xiao Wu stopped her spirit body transformation, unexpectedly saying in a low voice. Gee, just now if he truly beat you, then must we really get lost? She still had not forgotten Daimyo Bai's previous arrogant words. Tang San calmly said. Even if getting lost, it would only be by myself. This was also the reason why I did not let you enter the fight. He correctly said, with a difference of 1 spirit ring, the difference in strength is immense. Regardless of spirit power or spirit ring bestowed properties, he was still above us with that 1000-year spirit ring ability. After using White Tiger Vajra transformation, even if we two joined together, we still might not be his match. Could I really see you lose? If he insisted on that, then I also only could mutually kill each other. In strength, I am inferior to him, but if at full power, I have 70% certainty to have him die together with me. Having said this, Tang San walked over towards the counter. Fortunately, his fight with Daimyo Bai had not continued too long. After Daimyo Bai used White Tiger Vajra transformation, he also had not attacked with full strength, otherwise, this Rose Hotel would not like right now only just have some damage to the decor. Xiao Wu looked at Tang San walking towards the counter, lowering her head, in a low mutter repeating his previous words. Mutually kill each other. For dignity. That manager Wang stuck his head out from behind the counter. Seeing Tang San walking over, he hurriedly showed a smiling expression. Young man, you truly are awesome, including young Master Dai, all agree with letting you the room. Fortunately you did not receive any injuries, otherwise we certainly would be at a loss to account for it. Tang San of the hall's mess, with a wry smile said. Manager, how much will it be to restore here? Manager Wang hurriedly shook his head, saying. No, with you it doesn't matter. Young Master Dai previously said, these are all considered on him. He is our distinguished guest, need only register the bill. Before truly is embarrassing, when delaying 2 customers, still almost caused 2 customers harm, I certainly will subtract 2 customers 3 days rent. If 2 customers at our place stay less than 3 days, no need to pay. While speaking, he held out a brilliantly golden key, handing it to Tang San, smiling apologetically. Tang San was dumbfounded a moment. The hotel's damages did not matter to him. Daimyo Bai clearly was a wealthy person, but rent reduction he found somewhat found. After all, he had still destroyed someone else's hall. How is this embarrassing? We still are good to pay as before. Manager Wang hastily shook his head, saying. How is that possible? We already brought 2 customers very great inconvenience. Hereafter 2 customers need only have time to grace this store with your presence even more, alone is greatest assistance to us. 2 customers' room is at the top floor, the door plate is red ocean. Tang San, helpless, could only nod, saying. Then thank you. Going through a twisting and turning, Tang San also felt somewhat weary, turning around and bringing Xiao Wu walking towards the upper floor. Ever since reaching Suotuo City, also fighting with Daimyo Bai, whether mental pressure or internal strength consumption, he needed to rest. After all, with blue-silver grass being destroyed several times by Daimyo Bai, his internal strength consumption was not little. Looking at the 2 people going to the next floor, Manager Wang could at last let out his breath, muttering. At last it's resolved. Turning his head to look at the at his side innocent-appearing clerk, with a sigh, said. My fault, forgetting to tell you. Other rooms are all still fine, only Red Ocean cannot be casually let to other people, that is under young Master Dai's long-term reservation. The clerk said. Going through, our Red Ocean's room charge for 1 day is 10 gold spirit coins, you let those 2 children live for free like this? Young people today still truly are unrestrained, only 12 or 13 years old, unexpectedly. Less nonsense, take care as trouble issues from the mouth. Manager Wang slightly angrily said. What do you understand? Spirit masters are what kind of noble existences? Did you not see just now on those 2 children's bodies both already possessed 2 spirit rings? So young and already are spirit grandmasters, their future prospects should be boundless. Maybe comes from a great clan, cannot be offended by us. Part 3. Rose Hotel's decor easily gave people a very good feeling, color matching, simple and cozy. Within the hotel was that faint rose fragrance, putting people at ease. Farthest inside the top floor, Tang San found the Red Ocean door plate. The top floor altogether only had a few rooms, that's all. The previous door plates were some blue beauty, pink gentleness, yellow sincerity, white purity, and green separation and so on. Furthest in, was this red ocean. Later he learned, the door plate names, also represented the color of different roses. The door color was the same as the door plate name. On the crimson door was a beautiful dark red crystal rose decoration. Beside the red crystal rose was also a line of vertical block print characters, Eoerd Ocean, Ocean of Love. Even if Tang San was more slow-witted, he would currently still feel a bit strange. Turning his head to look at Xiao Wu, discovering Xiao Wu was also looking at him, somewhat awkwardly said. This hotel couldn't specialize in being a place for lovers' engagements. Xiao Wu blinked, snatching the key from Tang San's hand. Doesn't matter, having a place to stay will do. While speaking, she directly opened the door and walked inside. Tang San followed behind Xiao Wu into the room, but did not expect, just before him Xiao Wu suddenly came to a stop. His body immediately bumped into Xiao Wu's back, a softly elastic obstruction. Why don't you walk? Tang San hastily drew back a step, pulling open a distance between him and Xiao Wu. Just as he had finished asking this, he had actually already found the answer to his question. Even though he had some mental preparation, when he got his first look at this room, Tang San still was filled with a stunned feeling. The room was very big, just the living room in front exceeded 50 square meters area. Within the big lounge, was furniture without exception silver-colored, carved with delicate designs. A big red carpet was covered with a red rose pattern, but making them the most shocked, was in the middle of the big hall, was used a vast pile of roses to accomplish a huge red heart symbol. The entire heart symbol's area approached 2 square meters that must take at least 1,000 roses to be able to accomplish. Above hung a fine silk ribbon, on which was written some characters, Eoyeon 1001, you are my only one. Apart from these 1001 roses, the room was everywhere arranged with elegant vases, all holding fiery red roses. A heavy rose fragrance covered every corner of the room, charming and gently dazzling. Tang San said with a wry smile. Apparently I guessed correct. No wonder that Daimyo Bai would bring girls here. Xiao Wu, if you don't like this smell, IEOL let the clerk remove these. Xiao Wu by now had also already gotten over the shock, turning her head to stare coldly at Tang San, beautiful eyes fully enchanted. Gee, you really are stupid, do not girls like roses? If you do not understand this, how can you later find a wife? Tang San rubbed his nose. I'm only 12, right now saying this is too early. Xiao Wu walked forward, picking up a rose, moving close to sniff it. This room is arranged beautifully, I find, I'm already somewhat fond of it. Gee, later we will come here often all right. Tang San frowning said. All right what? We are siblings, what does coming to this kind of place count as? Well, hurrying while traveling is also tiring, rest a while. Looking at Tang San walking towards the bedroom, Xiao Wu at his back charmingly stretched out a delicate tongue, but nevertheless followed. Coming to the bedroom, the two once again were shaken a moment. Within the bedroom as expected, only was one bed, but this seeming to occupy half the total area of the room big bed was actually heart-shaped. Pale red muslin curtains hung down from the ceiling, obstructing the space occupied by the heart-shaped big bed, giving people a kind of dreaming fantasy-type sense of beauty. Red rose bedding, red rose decorated pillows, everything, brought a layer of strong ambiguity, accelerating people's blood flow. Tang San turned his head to Xiao Wu and said, I find, listening to you coming here truly was a mistake. You rest here, I will go outside to the sofa. Xiao Wu did not obstruct Tang San. With cheering sound, a rabbit at once finally pounced on the huge flexible heart-shaped bed, excitedly tossing and turning on top, indescribably excited. Seeing her appearance, Tang San's face couldn't help but slightly smile. A little girl after all was a little girl. In passing closing the bedroom door, walking out to sit cross-legged on the sofa, immediately beginning to exercise harmonizing breath, For these several years, although Tang San passed a monotonous life, it also made him form very good habits. Not only was strength promoted, his will also became even steadier. Even if he was still only 12 years old, he already conducted himself somewhat as an adult person. Of course, in Xiao Wu's description, he was aging prematurely. Pure mysterious heaven skill internal strength slowly flowed within the body. Tang San's mind began replaying the details of his fight with Daimyo Bai. Repeating the scene of the fight, clearly paying attention to the wins and losses of the fight, this was an inner quality Grandmaster instructed him was necessary for a battle spirit master to conduct. Ordinarily, he was practically always training with Xiao Wu, this time facing an opponent who still was compared to him a more formidable opponent. Although the hand-to-hand fighting process was not at all long, it still had not a few advantages to Tang San's battle experience. With the fantastic diversity of spirits, with many spirit masters possessing every kind of spirit, hand-to-hand fighting was extremely important. Gradually recalling the scene of Daimyo Bai using White Tiger Vajra transformation, Tang San in his heart thought to himself, White Tiger Vajra transformation's attack could reach what unknown degree, but after that defense increase, on the body added golden light should be similar to the body protecting Big Dipper Tail Chi. Among his hidden weapons were a few kinds that specialized in breaking Big Dipper Tail Chi, unknown to him whether they were useful. Blue-silver grass was not what Tang San relied on the most, hidden weapons was. In these several years, along with inner strength elevating, his hidden weapons cultivation also increased substantially. In hidden weapons 100 separation, he already had not few kinds of hidden weapons he could use. But he never dared neglect the guiding principles taught in Mysterious Heaven Treasure Record, in anything less than a moment of crisis, absolutely cannot lightly use, nothing more. This was his secret, even if it was Xiao Wu, also only knew one and understood half. Part 4. This time Tang San's cultivation continued for a very long time, only midway casually eat a bit of dinner with Xiao Wu. The cultivation time length, first was because his mysterious heaven skill already reached equivalent to 29th rank spirit power late stage, almost entering 30th rank threshold. Therefore his cultivation took particularly great effort, in order to as quickly as possible break through the 30th rank to go look for his third spirit ring. An additional reason, closely related to his hand-to-hand fight with Daimyo Bai, Daimyo Bai reminded Tang San that even better skill was also necessary support to power. Like the fight between them, at the beginning when neither used spirit, Tang San relied on exquisite controlling crane capturing dragon with mysterious jade hands properties, making Daimyo Bai have a bit of disadvantage. But just after Daimyo Bai used spirit white tiger body enhancement, Tang San's controlling crane catching dragon was very difficult to get to act. This was just the gap of power. After careful analysis determining Daimyo Bai's power, Tang San found, if he basically wanted to defeat him, the best means was to as quickly as possible upgrade his spirit power, letting his spirit power approach Daimyo Bai. He must also at least possess the third spirit ring ability to be able to contend with him. Even if it was hidden weapons, mysterious heaven skill support had even higher importance, as power would also substantially increase. Little San, G, accompany me to go out to play, all right? Always in this room, don't you find it unbearable stuffy? Early morning, Xiao Wu took advantage of Tang San being busy eating breakfasts and unable to complain. Tang San smiled slightly saying, You and I are not alike, your innate talent is intrinsically different. While without cultivating your strength can continuously rise, I still am a clumsy bird flying early, ah. You also saw, Daimyo Bai was also a Shrek Academy's student, what was his strength? Since having this kind of strength, maybe rank 2nd or 3rd. This Shrek Academy cannot be like our original Nyuding, it will not again be your mouthpiece. Without as much as possible elevating strength, afterwards how can I honor my promise to protect you? Xiao Wu discontentedly pouted, without speaking, pulled on Tang San's arm, big eyes brimming with hidden complaints gazing at him. Abundant Eo, if you do not promise to accompany me to go out, I will not let go meaning. Tang San, held by her truly, was without any method, helplessly nodding, said. Very well, anyway tomorrow we go to sign up at Shrek Academy. In a moment I will accompany you to go out to stroll, only must return by noon, in the afternoon you cannot again disturb my cultivation. Fine. Xiao Wu's melodious voice was brimming with elation, the hidden complaints in her eyes also swept away as if by magic. This acting skill of hers, long ago already reached the degree of bright green stove fire. Rose Hotel's service was extremely good. Just when Tang San and Xiao Wu went out, they happened to see a servant pushing a fresh rose cart, and on asking, found out the red roses in this red ocean room were unexpectedly replaced every day. Even if roses were of little value, with these amounts, the cost still was not small. Tang San tried to ask the cost of the room, and at this discovered, how much of a wise decision was his agreement yesterday to that manager Wang letting them these few days for free. Out of the Rose Hotel, Tang San asked Xiao Wu. Where do you want to go? Xiao Wu put on an indifferent expression. Strolling at random, going wherever. So long as not being stuffed into the room it's all well. Previously at Nyuting, she ordinarily had a big crowd of young brothers around for escort, like that indeed a little overlord existence. Originally that former student boss Xiao Chenyu although long ago graduated to go to Intermediate Spirit Master Academy, but his family's influence in Nyuting City was not small, so since he sincerely admired Xiao Wu, naturally also had the people at his home look after her, consequently, living in Nyuting Xiao Wu could be considered being like a fish in water. Used to noise and bustle, right now at her side only having one Tang San, she naturally was somewhat unused to. The two strolled towards the inside of the city walls. Suotuo City was worthy of being a lord-level city, although it was still morning, it was already an extremely bustling scene. The rhythm of life in the city clearly was much faster compared the leisurely Nyuting City. The pedestrians coming and going for the most part had a busy appearance. A variety of shops were like glittering jewels to delight the eye. After Tang San was pulled by Xiao Wu to turn into several clothes shops, he already had a feeling somewhat like fainting with blurred vision. Fortunately, Xiao Wu sufficiently displayed reflection on strolling without money, only looking not buying, not letting the two's common purse deflate. Suotuo City's prices were at least 30% higher compared to Nyuting City, especially on goods was this even clearer, but the quality also was somewhat better compared to Nyuting City. Of course, this still was because Nyuting City was a border city market. If it was an interior small town market, then it would be even more distant from being able to compare to Suotuo City. Yi, little San, look there. Xiao Wu called out amazed. Outside, she generally would call Tang San as Little San, only when it was only the two of them would she call him Ji. To call it by a glorified name, this was a secret between two people. Tang San also did not care about these, she had her reasons. What clothing shop is it now? Ah! Great young miss, should we not find some place to eat, then afterwards go back? Xiao Wu pulled at his hand, bouncing and vivacious saying. Look, ah, quickly look. Over there seems Spirit Master related. Tang San's gaze followed the direction of her finger, only seeing a distant shop, front not very large, but the store's suspended signboard stood out from the masses. On the shop sign was portrayed a round mark, with several unusual symbols above. Ordinary people might not understand the meaning of these symbols, but Tang San and Xiao Wu knew. Because some of the symbols were the same as on the Spirit Hall token tiles. Respectively they were a sword, a hammer, and a blue lightning tyrant dragon. Three symbols fitted together, like Grandmaster's Spirit Hall license token tile. For some reason appeared on a shop's signboard. Part 5. Let's go have a look. Tang San brought Xiao Wu towards the shop. The shop's door was open, inside looking somewhat dusky. As the two entered, an unusual energy fluctuation immediately attracted their attention, and this kind of energy fluctuation very similar to within Spirit Hall, but it was weaker. Through Grandmaster's instruction, Tang San knew, this was caused by spirit tools. Among spirit tools, all possessed spirit power fluctuations. If not used by people and bound by their spirit power would appear in all circumstances. Spirit tools for the most part did not possess offensive effects, and could only manage some simple assistance. Despite this, spirit tools were also extremely rare. Passed down spirit tools could be all said to be antiques, because its manufacture method was already lost. Inside the shop was only one person. They also did not see a counter. On the walls on three sides hung some articles, looking like already very old, also not appearing a bit valuable. That one person sat in a wooden deck chair, rocking the chair with eyes closed. He appeared to be around 50 years old, although not young. His stature was very thick and strong, swaying along with that sturdy-looking deck chair, under his weight issuing a creaking sound. This person's face was very characteristic, chin somewhat prominent, cheekbones very wide, in addition a bit aquiline nose. If insisting on using a kind of thing to describe him, then, one could only say his face had some similarity to the sole of a shoe. Although the eyes were closed, he seemingly had a somewhat devious feeling. On his face was a set of black framed crystal glasses, frames with a kind of rigid squares. When looking, all had a kind of strange feeling. Tang San and Xiao Wu entering inside the shop was unable to wake him. He still breathed evenly, swaying on his deck chair. Xiao Wu was curiously looking everywhere. "Little San, are these all spirit tools?" Tang San's gaze shifted from the middle-aged man to the goods hanging on the wall, nodding, said. "This I also don't know, unless I brought down each to test with spirit power. Only using eyes to look I can't make it out at all." While speaking, he walked up to a wall, gaze falling on a chunk of crystal the size of a person's head. Gaze immediately freezing somewhat. That chunk of crystal looked entirely unremarkable. It was transparent, the inside having large yellow impurities. Hanging closest to the door. But this chunk of crystal made Tang San's heartbeat speed up in a moment, a light in his eyes continuously shining. How he also didn't anticipate, unexpectedly would in this kind of shop, this kind of place, see this kind of crystal. Xiao Wu naturally discovered Tang San's change. "Little San, why ever are you looking at that crystal for? It wouldn't be easy to find a crystal inside more lacking than this one. This crystal has not a bit of luster, transparency is also lacking, also without additional color. Purple crystal is the most precious. You aren't planning to buy this thing, right?" What Xiao Wu didn't expect was, Tang San unexpectedly nodded confirmation. "I will buy this crystal, only I do not know the price." "Not so expensive, 100 gold spirit coins." Lazily, a bit magnetic hoarse voice rose. Not knowing whether it was because this speaking owner had a bit of a lisp, his words were somewhat inarticulate. Fortunately only Tang San and Xiao Wu were here. Inside the store was very quiet, able to clearly distinguish what he said. Tang San did not say anything, but Xiao Wu fiercely turned her head. "This broken crystal, still is 100 gold spirit coins, you might as well rob us." The middle-aged man in the deck chair opened his eyes, without at all leaving his seat. 100 gold spirit coins, already is my most inexpensive offer. If buying then at once take out the money, if not buying then please leave." Finished speaking, he again closed his eyes. Xiao Wu, angry, would step forward, but was grasped by Tang San. "Fine, I'll buy it." In these several years, Tang San also had certain savings. His expenses were ordinarily very small, and the majority of his income was all saved up. In particular, since reaching Spirit Grandmaster level, the stipend he received every month from Spirit Hall became 10 gold spirit coins. Right now Tang San plus Xiao Wu's net worth also was more than 700 gold spirit coins. "Tang San, are you all right?" Xiao Wu raised her hand to feel Tang San's forehead, making sure he did not have a fever. Tang San made an expression towards Xiao Wu, again softly shaking his head, right hand lightly touching 24 moonlit bridges at his waist. A purse just right to fit 100 gold spirit coins appeared in his grasp. turning around to walk to that middle-aged man and handing it over. The middle-aged man's eyes didn't open. Your money is not enough. Tang San said. This is 100 gold spirit coins, right enough. The middle-aged man's indistinct voice indifferently said. But my crystal is going for 200 gold spirit coins. This time Xiao Wu could no longer show restraint. This is extortion, just now you still said 100, and then it also became 200. No wonder you have no business. Little San, we won't buy it, let's leave. Tang San shook his head towards Xiao Wu, looking at the middle-aged man said. You definitely won't alter it again. Perhaps that crystal to other people's point of view was without any use, but to his eyes, compared to heavenly treasures it was still more important. Let alone 200 gold spirit coins, even if it was 10,000 gold spirit coins, as long as he had it, he would definitely buy it. The middle-aged man lazily said. Fine, 500 gold spirit coins, won't change. Fish out the money and you take it away right now, otherwise please leave. From 100 going to 200, also from 200 going to 500, this time, including Tang San's endurance was somewhat unable to brace. Putting away his purse, towards Xiao Wu he said. We're leaving. Xiao Wu ferociously glared at that middle-aged man. Already should have left, dealings with this kind of deceitful geriatric, practically is an insult to our intelligence.